To come full circle to where we are today, I would say that I'm even happier with APS today than I was 5 years ago, and that's really saying a lot because we've been through a lot. And in terms of other competitors, I don't think there's another product on the market that I get this excited about, because I understand what it's done to our building.
How do you feel or do you feel like having APS is an advantage compared to, maybe competitors, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, it's a great question. I have to tell you, if I would have known before, when I signed the contract for APS and what I was bringing in, and then of course, if I knew that COVID was going to happen, um, and the irony of the whole COVID transition or the whole 5 years was really, COVID was really difficult for facilities, getting medications, keeping up with stuff, staffing, like most facilities. We had our challenges for the first time in my career where I had to turn to agency staff. I've never had to do that. We've always had our own staff. And I would interact with a lot of them and say, just out of curiosity, why us? Why did you pick the Ackerson? You could go anywhere. There's lots of facilities that are geographic footprint. And I always laughed when I heard this, and I heard this many times. The agency's nurses always said to me, APS 250.
Wow.
Nobody else has it. It was a game changer for them, and it put us up on the top of the list for
Wow.
agency staffs to make us their premier facility to go to, which, listen, in my time of need, the greatest need that I've had in my career, know that, an integration from, giving out medications and automation of pharmacy really made a difference in getting temporary staff on a regular basis. I mean, that's kudos to APS, right? That's obviously a huge testament to the product. They saw it, they've never seen it before in other buildings. They love the technology. They were able to very quickly understand the benefits of not reconciling all these medications and not dealing with all the headaches and the challenges of
Yeah.
dealing with the pharmacy. So they were obviously as interested as we were. So they saw the advantages. They saw the value in having a machine like this. So, to come full circle to where we are today, I would say that I'm even happier with APS today than I was 5 years ago, and that's really saying a lot because we've been through a lot. And in terms of other competitors, I don't think there's another product on the market that I get this excited about, because I understand what it's done to our building. I understand the value of what it's brought to my nursing staff. For the resident, it's a dignity and a quality of life issue for them to be able to get their medication and not be in pain. That's certainly something that, the regulations in this industry are heavily focused on. And to being able to give them that pain medication so they're not in pain, um, is, like I said, it really is a game changer for everybody. Obviously, with subacute, you have a lot of residents that are coming in and you have a lot of turnover, and sometimes, a resident told me here for a couple of days. And, what
Mhm.
I always talk about is, when a resident comes in, when, again, historically, when you get that 30-day pill, right? You fill that medication, it's coming from the pharmacy, usually in a 30-day bottle or bingo card, I should say, where it has to be
Bingo card.
distributed. What happens when the resident moves, decides to go home or gets discharged on day 5, right? What do you do with those additional 25 pills or whatever the number is, depending on the quantity of the medication per day? So, I think the APS has allowed us to certainly be more efficient in a lot of regards. And I know that even during our most recent survey by the Department of Health, we were able to explain to them how we handled the narcotic medication.
Wow.
We had a resident that was on, some pretty high level of narcotic because they had some significant surgeries in the hospital prior to admission. And we were able to show obviously the procedures and how the narcotics are distributed through the APS machine, as opposed to just being in sort of lack of better terms, just in the med cart. So there's controls there. There's procedures that prevent a resident from getting their medication, whether it be too early or, not within guidelines of whether it be the manufacturer recommendation or the doctor's order. So I think APS has allowed us to do all of that and really close the gap on the continuum of care for all of our residents. I think if you were to walk through my facility today and you meet with any of my nurses, they're going to tell you that they love APS.